Hello, friends, and welcome back to another reading of The Invisible Man. Today we're reading Chapter 10, Mr. Marvel's Visit to Imping. After the first gusty panic had set in itself, Imping became argumentative. Specutism suddenly reared its head, rather nervous specutism, not at all assured of its back, but skepticism. Nevertheless, skepticism, skepticism, nevertheless, it is so much easier not to believe in an invisible man, and those who had actually seen him dissolve into air, or felt the strength of his arm, could be counted on the fingers of two hands, and of these witnesses Mr. Wages was presently missing, having retired impregnably behind the bolts and bars of his own house, and Jaffers was lying stunned in the parlor of the Coach and Horses. Great and strange ideas transcending experience often have less effect upon men and women than smaller, more tangible considerations. Imping was gay with bunting, and everybody was in a gala dress. Whit Monday had been looked forward to for a month or so. By the afternoon, even those who believed in the unseen were beginning to resume their little amusements. In a tentative fashion, on the supposition that he had quite gone away, and with the skeptics, he was already a jest. But uh, suspects and believers alike were remarkably sociable all that day. Hayman's Meadow was gay with tent in which Mrs. Bunting and other ladies were preparing tea, while without the Sunday school children ran races and played games under the nosy guidance of the current, and with Mrs. Cusson's suckbutt. No doubt there was a slight uneasiness in the air, but people for the most part had the sense to conceal whatever imaginative qualms they experienced. On the village green, an incline string down which clinging the air to a pulley swung handle. One could be hurled violently against a sack at the other end. Came in for considerable favor among the adolescents. There were swings and coconut sheaths and pomading, and the steam orange attached to the swing filled the air with a pungent flavor of oil and equal pungent music. Members of the club who had attended church with equally pungent music. Members of the club who had attended church in the morning were splendid in badges of pink and green, and some of the gayer-minded had also adorned their bowler hats with uh, brilliant colored favors of ribbon. Old Fletcher, whose conceptions of holiday making were severe, was visible through the jasmine about his window or through the open door, which way you chose to look. Poised delicately on a blank supported on two chairs, and whitewashing the ceiling of his front room. About 4 o'clock a stranger entered the village from the direction of the downs. He was a short, stout person in an extraordinarily shabby top hat, and he appeared to be very much out of breath. His cheeks were alternately limp and tightly puffed. His malted face was apprehensive, and he moved with a sort of rectangulant alacrity. He turned the corner by the church and directed his way to the coach and horses among others. Old Fletcher remembers seeing him, and indeed the old gentleman was so struck by his peculiar occasion that he inadvertently allowed a quantity of whitewash to run down the brush into the sleeve of his coat while regarding him. This stranger to the perceptions of the puppeteer of the coconut shy appeared to be talking to himself, and Mr. Huxter remarked the same thing. He stopped at the front door of the coach and horses steps, and according to Mr. Huxter, appeared to undergo a severe internal struggle before he could introduce himself to enter the house. Finally, he marched up the steps and was seen by Mr. Huxter to turn to the left and open the door of the parlor. Mr. Huxter heard voices from within the room, and from the bar apprising the man of his error. "That room's private," said Hall, and the stranger shut the door clumsily and went into the bar. In the course of a few days he reappeared, wiping his lip with the back of his hand with an air of quiet satisfaction that somehow impressed Mr. Huxter as assumed. He stood looking about him for some moments, and then Mr. Huxter saw him walk in an oddly furtive manner towards the gates of the yard, upon which the parlor windows opened. The stranger, after some hesitation, leaned against one of the gate posts, proceeded a short clay pipe, and prepared to fill it. His fingers trembled while doing so. He lit it clumsily, and flooding his arms began a smoke in a land guide attitude, an attitude which his occasional quick glances up the yard altogether believed. All this Mr. Huxter saw over the canister of the tobacco window, and the singularity of the man's behavior prompted him to maintain his observation. Presently the stranger stood up abruptly and put his pipe in his pocket. Then he vanished into the yard. Forthwith Mr. Huxter conceived he was witness of some petty larceny, leapt around his corner, and ran out into the road to intercept the thief. As he did so, Mr. Marvel reappeared, his hat askew, a big bundle in a blue tablecloth in one hand, and 3 books tied together, as it proved afterwards, with the vicar's brace in the other. Directly he saw Huxter. He gave a sort of gasp, and turning sharply to the left, began to run. "Stop, thief!" cried Huxter, and set off after him. Mr. Huxter's sensations were vivid but brief. He saw the man just before him, and spurting briskly for the church corner and the hill road. He saw the village flags and festivals beyond, and a face or so turned towards him. He bawled, "Stop again!" He had hardly gone 10 strides before his shin was caught in some mysterious fashion, and he was no longer running, but flying into inconceivable rapidly through the air. He saw the ground suddenly close to his face. His world seemed to splash into a million whirling specks of light, and subsequent proceedings interested him no more. And that's the end of chapter 12. So, friends, thanks for watching, and tune in tomorrow for chapter 11. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow us on social media at Funky Brothers and Funky Play Brothers. Thank you for watching. Bye.